Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Virgin to Me. I am super excited to go over, remember one of our favorite sailings actually this year. One that we worked very hard for, actually. The French Daze and Ibiza Nights. So I'm very excited to bring back Miss Kelly Roma again with me because we did a lot on that sailing.
We did.
We left some husbands behind. The husbands came this time, but we actually left them behind a few times and enjoyed some moments. So I thought Kelly would be the best to go over this sailing. Now, I will warn you, this is a Friday at the Fabulous Adventures headquarters, and we may be feeling well today because we may have had just a little bit of drink to enjoy the Friday. So this should be an interesting podcast. We're going to call it the Tipsy French Daze and Ibiza Nights version. Oh, jeez Louise. So yeah, and virgin too. So if you don't know who we are, if you're joining in for the first time, I'm Samantha from Fabulous Adventures Travel Company. I own the agency, and I am the host of this podcast all the time. And then Miss Kelly over here joins me all the time. So
Yes.
we're very excited to have her back again to talk about this. So, French Days and Ibiza Nights.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And not only that, but how did we get on board?
We actually earned our way on board.
We did earn our way.
So we were 2 of the top 10 agents in our region. So it was Central Florida.
Yeah.
And it was within a booking window that we had to have the most sailings. And 2 of us earned our way there.
Yes, we did, which is super exciting. So Virgin took us on the French Days and Ibiza Nights. We went on end of June, right after we did Greek Island Glow. So don't try that at home because honestly, it doesn't work out. They both set sail on the same day, and we had to get special clearance to get off the ship early to then make it to Barcelona in time to sail on the French Days and Ibiza Nights. And that was a trip in itself.
Yes.
Do you remember
definitely.
that?
I remember that.
I felt like it was the longest day of our lives. We got stuck in Mykonos. So we had to get off the ship at 10 o'clock. We went to Mykonos, which, wasn't far. The airport was not far from the ship, but the ship was still sailing back to Athens to let everyone off the next day. So we got off at Mykonos. We flew to Munich, but we stayed in Mykonos for hours. What was it? I can't remember. Oh, the plane was just late or something. And so we got stuck there for hours, and it is the tiniest airport. So there's nothing there. I honestly expected it to be an outdoor airport. Didn't you?
Yeah, thank God it wasn't because
God,
we
would've
were
died.
stuck.
Yeah, we were stuck there. So we stayed there for I don't know, it felt like 5 hours, but was it really? I think it was
so.
actually. And then we made it to Munich, which was fun. We landed in Munich and did not have any Wiener Schnitzel, which happens to be my favorite. We actually had pizza at the airport, right? Didn't we all eat pizza or a burger or something? And then we got back on and came over to Barcelona. So I'm not a huge fan of going up to go down, but that's just the way that it worked out timing-wise, and the way that the airplane and all the schedule worked out. So we ended up in Barcelona at midnight. We stayed at the Renaissance Barcelona Hotel. It was very centrally located. It was not near the port. It was really not near anything super important.
It was near Las Ramblas, which is where all of the restaurants and bars are, which is where Barcelona is known for. We ended up just walking around the corner and finding a awesome place to eat.
Oh my gosh, we were starving. So at midnight, of course, they weren't serving anything, which they should have been at our hotel, but they weren't. But it was good for us that they weren't doing that. So that made us leave the hotel and go look for something. And we ended up, like she said, right around the corner. And the food was phenomenal. Little tapas.
I can't remember the name of the place.
I can't either. I probably took a picture of it. But no, maybe I didn't. Now that I think about it, we were so hungry.
I know.
And so tired. I bet I didn't take a picture of it. But it was so good. And we just had tapas there and then went to bed that night. The next morning, got up and debated, the 4 of us. We were like, do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? Do you want to go here? You don't have a lot of time because, of course, you have to be on the ship, by 1 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to see? What are we going to do? What can we get in? But we were also exhausted from traveling all day. So I wanted to see the church, the famous church.
La Sagrada Familia.
That is right. I wanted to see the famous church, and they had already seen it because they've been in Barcelona. So Kelly and her husband had already seen it. So I said, I'm going. You're more than welcome to join. If you don't want to join, I completely understand. No big deal. Well,
we took a walk.
It was quite the walk.
It was a little farther than I thought it was.
It was very far. So, of course, maps, they don't look so long on the map. But I don't mind walking, and I made sure that I put on sneakers, and, we went fast because we only had a small amount of time. But, Kelly, what did you forget and leave in the room that we had to stop for at the store? Do you remember?
Oh, it was deodorant.
So I have an actual picture, which we will not put up, of Kelly being like, put on my deodorant. Because we were literally running to this thing.
Yes.
And it was
I
hot.
needed the deodorant after running.
Yeah. And it was super hot. So, yeah, we were like literally running, and we made it, but all we could do literally was walk around the thing. Just walk around, see the whole thing, and then we ran back because my shuttle was, we had my husband and I were mega rock stars again. We were in the Brilliant Suite, and so they were picking us up at like 1, and so we had to run back. And then you guys had already scheduled your tour, your ride pickup, and had to be there as well. So we like ran back. Mm-hmm. It was crazy, but we got to see it. But that was all we got to see that day, which is fine. And then when we got to the port, this was a different port because it was right next to, what did you say it was? Eurostars, Grand Marina.
Yep.
So we were going to tell you all about that, but then we had a discussion literally right before we hit go on this that all ports are being moved because Barcelona does not want cruise ships anymore in their area for pollution and too much people. I don't know, too many people, something like that. So they made an announcement they don't want cruise ships there. So we were going to tell you, hey, stay at the Eurostars Grand Marina if you just have one night because it's right there. But maybe it's still kind of close. We don't know. We won't know yet until next year. But so that hotel was literally like across the street, and not even. I feel like it was like
a driveway.
Yeah, like a sidewalk or something. It was crazy. And so when we checked in Rockstar, and we just had to wait, but they gave us 2 tickets. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. They gave us 2 tickets to go get drinks around the corner, which we didn't end up doing.
I actually did.
Oh, you did go?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Because we got there a little earlier. It was a little cafe. You can either get juice, water, or coffee, but there was nowhere to sit. And that was one of my husband's biggest gripes because he's like, you're sending us over here to this cafe and there's nowhere to sit.
Yeah, it was
So we got a box of water and walked our way back.
The box of water. I love it. I do like the box of water. It's very environmentally friendly.
Yes.
So that's what we did there. And then they finally let us in, and we sat inside the terminal and waited for them to call us up. I do remember that. Mm-hmm. And it was an okay terminal.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave went and played chess. So my hubs went and played chess with, there was like, what was in there? It was like an art gallery of some sort. Like they sold sculptures or something.
Yeah, I remember.
And there was a chessboard in there, and apparently my husband went and found himself a chess player and played chess. What? I don't even know. He cracks me up, man. So then they brought us in, and we went upstairs to our Mega Rockstar suite and met probably, I have to be very careful about this statement, but I love him to death, our Rockstar agent, Matthew. He was top notch and definitely up there with G2. So, and David, geez Louise, if David ever watches this, I don't want him to get mad at me that we don't love him because Kelly and I love you lots. But Matthew is just top notch, phenomenal. And obviously we didn't know that going into it, but we were in the Brilliant Suite. We met him, established what we wanted to have delivered every day, told them exactly what, I was looking for breakfast, trying to get Dave his bedtime snack, because my husband likes a bedtime snack, which is a banana randomly, just so that he puts something in his stomach. I don't know. Okay, I'm totally getting off the subject for a second, but I have to ask Kelly this, even though I really know the answer. Would you get up in the middle of the night and eat something if you're hungry? No, I just go back to sleep. If my stomach is growling, I'm like this, shut up, it's sleeping time, my friend. Not my husband. He is like, oh, you're hungry? Well, let's eat. I don't understand that. I can't figure that one out for the life of me because I'm like this, nope, I ain't getting out of bed for nothing. This place better be on fire, going down like the Titanic, or I don't know what happening. That's the only reason I'm getting out of bed. That's it.
True.
This is true. So anyways, past the bedtime snack, back to what Matthew would do for us. So Matthew just took notes basically and, asked us what our preferences were. And then we got to know how great he is and how wonderful our week was going to be because he was phenomenal. And then he met our honorary 3rd member of our room.
Yes.
He did.
I was there when he came in.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was automatically just a part of their suite. I was in a Rockstar suite as well. I was not in a Mega.
You had what? I forgot.
I had a cheeky corner on the French days.
Oh, yes, the cheeky corner.
I did.
Which Kelly doesn't know if it's really as cheeky as it is because she didn't look for the video camera that everyone swears about. Well, we're going to look for it next week.
Yes.
The video camera. If you don't understand what that means, we'll report about it another time. So Kelly was in a cheeky corner. What deck were you on?
12. We had the biggest
you had a good
terrace.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And you weren't far from us.
Yeah, our balcony was huge.
We're on opposite ends. She was way back here. I was way over here. So yeah, but still, we managed to always be together.
Yes.
So that was cool. And then we went to a party to meet with everybody down at the dock, right? Mm-hmm. And then I don't even know what we did after that. Isn't that terrible? I don't know where we ate.
I don't either, but it's probably listed right there.
Oh, it is
on my
right
spreadsheet.
Here, on the spreadsheet.
But I can't see without my glasses.
Okay, here we go. This is what it is. Galman's not telling me anything, so he's not been helpful at all. I'm just going to say that right now. Okay, so he says I'm doing good, though. Okay, so we went to Razzle Dazzle that night, which I want to talk about that for a second because it was literally the last time that we ate the favorite menu. The last time that we ate the favorite menu. So the things that I ate were, just me, Uno. I might have shared a few things, but I don't know that you ever had this one thing. The schnitzel. I love schnitzel. And when they brought out Razzle Dazzle, the menu years ago, when I first saw this menu and I saw that schnitzel was on there, what did I do? I lost my mind because I love it, right? So it was the last time I had it. Then what else did we have the last time?
Butternut squash ravioli. Oh, bring it back, Virgin.
It's so sad. So we had that. And, excuse me. So yeah, so those were the two things that I know I had. I don't know what you had that, but I took pictures of them because I'm so glad I did. Who knew that was going to be the last time?
I know. So sad.
Ugh. So we ate at Razzle Dazzle. And I think we went to the Untitled Dance Show party thingy.
Yes.
Probably. That's what it says on here. And then we went to the PJ party. Stan's husband. I don't think my husband came, and I know yours didn't. Mm-mm. Yeah, because your husband had a very nice barbershop experience.
He did.
Tell us about that.
My husband is actually a barber.
He is a barber.
So he was on board and he went to the barbershop and he was like, hey, I want to get a shave and a haircut while I'm on board. And I was like, go find out what times they have. Well, they had a time like right then. Yeah. So he went and had a cut and a shave, and he doesn't get to do that. He normally just gets a cut with one of his barbers in his shop. So that was a cool experience for him.
He really liked it.
Yeah.
He raved about it. But then we didn't see him after that. So we went to the PJ party by ourselves, which isn't really anything new, honestly. It wasn't different for us in any way, shape, or form. Both of our husbands were in bed. But we had a hard stop that night. Do you remember that? That's where hard stop, I think, was even invented. Wasn't it?
Because we had to get up early the next day.
So we knew we had to get up early. So one of the things that we're used to doing in the Caribbean that we weren't used to doing in the Med was we party a lot in the Caribbean because, you've been to these places, right? It's the same old places. So you're always just really on board to party. So we had a hard stop on this one because we knew that we had to get up super early and ride a bike. We rode bikes. So we knew that we had to be, feeling good the next day, and we had a hard stop. So we did hard stop, and we did a good job, actually. I think so.
Yeah, we did. In my opinion. We made it to the excursion.
We did made it to the excursion, which is very exciting. So the next day we ended up in Marseille. Mm-hmm. I like to call it Marseille, but it's Marseille apparently. So we ended up in Marseille. That was not a tender. We got off the ship and got straight onto a bus. Wasn't that the place? No, that wasn't the place where they had too many people. No, that was not the place. So we got onto a bus, and then we went to this parking garage in the middle of the city. And they were like, it's in here. And I honestly thought we were going to get jacked.
I know. It was
a little
sketchy.
Weird.
Yeah.
We get in there and there's all these bikes. And I was like, what the heck is this? And so he's like, hi. And it's this chipper guy wearing Birkenstocks pretty much. I feel like he's like the nicest dude, totally chipper. And I'm like, how's he going to go on the bike with those Birkenstocks on? I don't really know if that's what he was wearing, but he was super chipper. I loved him. And he's like, all right, here you we're here for the e-bike tour. Who's ridden a bike? And we were all like, oh, us. And there was one lady.
Yeah, she should not have chosen this as an excursion, for sure.
Yeah, she had not ridden a bike. And either she hadn't ridden a bike. Well, she had to ridden a bike because she had some skill. But it was a long time. She forgot. You know that saying? What's that saying?
It's like riding a bike?
Yeah. That's not her. Okay? Not her. It was like us. So they explained how the e-bike worked. And it was a little nerve-wracking because you were kind of like, wait, what? Can you say that again? And then they were like, do you want this helmet? And what did we do?
We chose not to get the helmet.
That was the stupidest thing we've ever done.
It was hot. And
it was the stupidest thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
So he hands us the helmet. I'm going to be honest. I've said this before. At this point, I feel like you all know me. I am a germaphobe. So I look at this helmet that looks like it hasn't been washed, touched, wiped down in years. And I was like, I'm not putting that on my head. And so that was my first thing. And I also thought, I know how to ride a bike. I don't need a helmet.
Yeah.
Right? That's probably what most of us thought. Okay. That was not the smartest thing we've ever done. I say 100% get the helmet. You know, I say get the corn, get the helmet. Okay, if you do this e-bike tour, get the helmet. So just so you know, because I'm sure you're going to ask, we purchased this through Virgin. It was a Virgin excursion. It was called e-bike something around Marseille. Oh, Kelly's pointing to the, okay, Easy Marseille by e-bike is the name of it. And we had to be there at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. That we did good though. Yes. So anyways, like I said, helmet, I say no to it. Kelly says no. The hub says no. Oh, we're missing one hubs. We're missing Kelly's hub. So it's just the three of us. Well, the guy's like, who wants to be my safety person? And I was like this. Oh, hell no. I am just going to try to survive this. Okay. I don't know what you said about even how to work the bike at this point.
We were so clueless.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm never going to be able to figure out how to work this bike. He was like, don't do that. I mean, he had a ton of instructions on what not to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to really do. I just knew what not to do. And it freaked me out. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get this to work right. My husband's like this. I'll be the safety guy. And there he is in his little safety outfit. Like, he's such a dork. I love him. But he's straight up like all happy in his safety outfit. And we kind of just made him giggle. Well, anyways, he made him be the end of it. And in the lead, the lead guy, which I still don't know his name, was obviously the leader of the pack. And then I made sure that I followed right behind him because I'm no dummy. I was not getting in the middle of the pack and I was not going to be in the back of the pack. I was going to be right behind him. And that's exactly what I did. And guess who was right behind me?
I was right behind Samantha. Yep.
We're not stupid. So anyways, we do this excursion. Well, first you go out of the garage and there was a hill. That freaked me out too because I thought, oh, how am I going to learn how to use this freaking bike on a hill? So I let it coast down. I got to the bottom and I was like, all right, I'm going to try to use the actual e-bike on the way up. And it was super easy. Once you really got the hang of it, like that thing took off. You did have to pedal, but it would go. So I was like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. And then what happened, Kelly?
Well, there were a couple points that were difficult.
Yeah. But what about how much traffic? And like we were literally in the middle of the city.
Yeah, there's hardly any sidewalks. You're riding on the actual street. Buses are driving by, taxis,
and they're literally like this.
Motorbikes.
Like you feel
Yes.
it brush against your shoulder, and you're like, oh my god, I'm not gonna look over there because it was freaky. I've never ridden in the middle of a city. It's not the same as riding in this little town here in your street. It's not the same.
We also had to watch out for glass.
Oh, yes.
And our lead guy would yell glass and point to it. And then we all had to point to it so the person behind us would know to stay away from the glass. Apparently, there's a lot of glass on the roads of Barcelona.
Yes.
Or Marseille, I'm sorry.
That was freaky. And then he'd be like, don't run over the glass. And we're like,
yeah.
And then here we're trying not to get hit by buses and not move out too far away from the, Madonna.
Get the
it
helmet.
was like, get the helmet. That's what, I looked at Kelly after we stopped. So he did, the cool part about it is you do stop along the way at different really cool spots, of course, in Marseille. And he explains the whole part of the city. We didn't know that it was a drug city before, well, at least I didn't. So there you go. It used to be a drug city. And it was a city that had a lot of imports coming in from, I don't remember where, to be honest, but it was a very big city for like bringing in items from outside of the country. So I thought it was really interesting to hear all of that. But we did stop along the way and see different things. And I was very thankful for those stops. But when we did, I was like, oh God, I wish I could go back and get the helmet and save my brains. Because all I kept picturing was my brain splattered on the ground and then ran over by the truck. I mean, that's what it was. So, yeah. Hence the reason why I stayed behind the lead. I don't know what that was going to do for me. But I wanted to make sure I was right behind him. So, but it was super fun. Then we ended up going up to the top where there was that church that was absolutely gorgeous. I don't even know the name of it, but there was a church up there. It was absolutely gorgeous. But we were all hoping for some cooler moments, like air conditioning, and there was none. So when we got up there, Kelly was dying. I was sweating. Sweat was dripping down my back. I'm so sorry. That's so gross to even tell you, but I just want you to know what you're getting yourself into. Not bad, though. Again, do it. But know that these are the things that you should know before. And it was super hot, but he let us take a break. The breeze was blowing up there, so it was nice. So I stood in the shade. I'm sure you did the same thing, and we kind of cooled down a little bit because that hill was huge to get up. But the e-bike helped a lot.
Oh, I struggled. Even on 5.
did?
Oh, yeah. I didn't make it up to the church.
Right,
I waited at the bottom. I was like, I'm not doing all those stairs after doing that mountain. Because even on the highest level of that bike, I was struggling.
Yeah. It was, I mean, the incline was definitely steep, and then the bike did a lot
Can only
of work.
do so much.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a really good time. And then we went down and we had chocolates. We went to the chocolate joint. But the really interesting part about when we were there was, what's his name was there? What the heck is his name? The president. Prime Minister, President. Oh my God, what is his name? I can't think of his name. The French. What's that? French? Yeah. What is his name? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. But he was there doing a speech, and no. Oh, is that who it is now? Oh, he must.
Macron.
What is it?
Macron?
Macron? Yes. So he was there giving a speech, and so everything was like closed off and blocked and everything, and it was really hard to get around, and that was kind of a little freaky too.
That was freaky.
Because he's not well liked over there. So if you're French, we're sorry that we're saying that he's not well liked and you like him. I feel bad about saying that, but that's what I feel like is the temperature over there. So we were a little nervous about that, but it turned out fine, obviously. Like I said, they took us to a chocolate shop. They fed us all this different chocolate made from olive oil, right? That was like the key ingredient.
So good.
Yeah, that was really cool. And that was our snack, although I needed like a bucket of water at that point. And then right next door was this really cool restaurant. I didn't want to call it a restaurant.
It was like a deli, not a...
Like almost like a galley, almost like the galley, honestly, on Virgin, where it had these different little shops that served different foods. So each little shop specialized in that food. So there was like a salad shop, a sandwich shop, pasta, steak, all that stuff. So it was really cool. And I was like, can we eat over here? Because, you know, we haven't eaten. What time was it at that point? I don't even know. It says it was supposed to end at 1:30. It felt like 3. But we didn't end up eating. And we ended up going back and just dropping off the bike. And that was it. There was nothing to pick us up. So this was Kelly's biggest thing. So Kelly, say your biggest thing about that.
So maybe we didn't read the excursion description, but when we got dropped off in this parking garage from the bus, we expected to get back on the bus to take us back to the port. Well, that was not the case. They left us in the parking garage to find our way back to the port. So we had to either walk or grab a taxi. Mm-hmm. So we were like, oh, we can walk, no big deal. And
we did walk.
Didn't get very far.
Yeah, we didn't get very far, and then we got a taxi, right?
Not until your husband played chess on the street with a street chess player.
So, yes, in this one little section right there in the, I want to say it was a marina. It was like, and there was a cover on there, and this guy had a bunch of chessboards, and he was speed chess playing, probably saying that wrong, with anyone coming through. And my husband stopped because he loves chess, and he won.
He did. And he walked around like
this.
Like he won the biggest prize of the world.
Yes. Yeah. It was very much like, are you kidding? But no, he loved it.
No, I thought that was super cool that he could just like, you know, play chess with a guy on the street. Like, let me just stop here and play.
He did. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I agree with that. He likes chess and he's good at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was cool. And he was very excited about that. Honestly, he probably had time, he would have set up his own chessboard and been like,
Here I am. Come at me.
Exactly. I tell him all the time, you should just do that on Virgin and like just sit there. Maybe someone will come by and be like,
yeah.
Ooh. But he hasn't done it. He should do it.
He should.
All right, write in and tell me if you'd play chess with my husband. then we'll get. That's what we should do. We should do a chess cruise.
Ooh.
I don't feel like it's the same. Like I feel like he's like the only one that would like go on that cruise. They're all laughing at me. Okay. All right. So then we went back and ate there because we were starving. We didn't stop and eat anywhere. I don't know why. But we did go back and eat on board, probably because we had snacks in the room at 3:00 at that point. That's what we did. We ran back to Matthew to our snacks. Matthew would bring us the biggest thing of gummy bears on the planet. Do you remember that?
I remember Dave used to send some home with me.
Yeah,
he'd be like, here, take these with you.
Because, I mean, it was like this massive amount of gummy bears. And we laughed so hard because we're like, what are we going to do with all these gummy bears? But he'd bring me my favorite beet hummus and popcorn always and gummy bears. I think that was really majority of what we got every time. Sometimes we'd ask for different things, but... So yeah, so we went back to snacks. And then that night we were supposed to do Test Kitchen in the wake. But do you remember what we did? Because I can't imagine you went to Test Kitchen.
I did not go to Test Kitchen.
I know, but I can't remember what we did. So I'm thinking that we all just went to the wake together as a threesome.
Probably.
Yeah. So I loved the wake. It was probably just as good. And I'm sure I got the corn.
Get the corn.
Get the corn. Listen, if you haven't learned anything at all on this podcast, you should really just learn to get the corn. That's your key. That's it. That's all you got.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. All the places you see corn, you go like this. I'm going to take the corn, because Samantha said. And then just tell them because Samantha said. That would be hilarious. Okay, so that night it looks like we did dual reality, but I doubt we did that because...
we did not.
I don't do that show. And then the next day we were in Cannes. Sure. And that was a tender boat. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
That was a tender. So if you've never tendered before and you don't have an excursion booked with Virgin, you need to book a tender time. So we booked the earliest time that we could get, basically. I think it was 9 a.m. It says on here, or maybe it was even 8:30. And we went over on the tender. So I will tell you this. What is your biggest advice for a tender?
Well, like what she does with her husband is tell him to wait to be the last one on. Mm-hmm. Because no matter what the seas are like, I feel like when the tender's up against the ship, it's rocking constantly back and forth. And you sit there for 10, 15 minutes while they board it. So don't get on first, get on last, and sit close to like air. Don't sit by a window that's closed. Like, try to get some fresh air if you have any kind of motion sickness.
So the hubs gets motion sickness, and these boats are tiny. And like she said, they're bobbing around. So we make him stay back and he tells security, I need to be the last one on. And they say, okay. And they do it every time.
Yeah.
One time, I think it was that time, actually, I got on the boat and I was looking at you because we were on there for a long time. I want to say it was that time. I remember looking at you going, and I don't get motion sickness. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can get some sort of motion sickness, but it's very rare, as you know. I mean, as much as you know me. So I looked at it and I was like, ooh, I'm feeling this, because the boat was just, whoa. And I was like, what the? And we were there for a long time. Yeah. It was just, whoa. So then he got on and we took off, which was good. It was a very short ride. And once the ride gets going, it's not doing that. But if it sits there, I don't know what it is. It just is like bobbing. And it didn't matter. I think it was almost every tender that we did. Mm-hmm. So, we got off. We waited for the private tour. So we did book this outside of Virgin. We booked a private tour for the four of us. And he was supposed to take us to, oh gosh, I'm not going to say this right. It's EZE, but Ez?
I think. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a little medieval town, on top of a hill. The place is absolutely gorgeous. And then he was going to take us to, Monte Carlo and, Monaco, right? Basically. Mm-hmm. So that's where we went. We went to Ez. Oh gosh, I hate that I'm saying it wrong. I'm so sorry. I apologize. But we did not go up into the medieval section. We actually just ate really good bakery. So we looked at him. I was like, okay, we have this whole thing where I love a good jambone sandwich. That's not what it's called. It's called, what is it actually? How do you even say it? I'm terrible at French. So it's a ham sandwich, ham and cheese sandwich on a baguette, and it's literally, I'm like sitting here thinking to myself, I could use one of those right now. And Kelly's probably dreaming of it right now too, because we had so much of it. Excuse me. And so I kept saying to our driver, who was French, obviously, I kept saying, I need a jambone sandwich. And he was like, oh, he didn't know where to get it. But anyways, he brought us to a bakery and they were phenomenal. So we had one there. We also got a bunch of sweets there, hung out for a little bit, and then kept going, moved on to Monte Carlo. So we really wanted to see the casino. Kelly had already been, but my goal was to hold one of those chips. Planks. Gold's planks. Apparently it's not a thing. You can't hold one of those. But they didn't even let us in. It wasn't even open. We got there so early.
Yeah.
So that's stinky. But we got to see it, so that was cool. And then once we did that, we kind of walked around the area just a little bit and then went up to the palace, which was amazing. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
We walked through this really quaint town up there. We did get sick, though. Oh, my God, I shouldn't leave that out. You tell that part.
Okay, so
from Ez going to Monte Carlo.
It was a very windy mountain. Yep. I mean, it was the like windiest thing you can think of.
It was like San Francisco, windy road, but on a mountain. So like really like switchback.
Yeah, and we were sitting in the back seat.
We put Dave in the front.
Dave was in the front. I get motion sick, but he really gets motion sick. So we were not feeling so great.
Yeah.
To the point where we had to have our driver pull over and go to a pharmacy and get us medicine because we don't speak the language. So we had to have the driver go into the pharmacy and ask for Dramamine or Bonine or something to get us through. We got some special gum, which we still don't know what we had. We were told to like chew it for 10 minutes and get rid of it. And
get rid of it. Except these two ate it for hours.
We did. We ate it until like it turned into silly putty in your mouth. But it helped a lot. But it like numbed your entire mouth. So.
It did help you a lot.
But yes, I wish I can go back and buy more.
I know. You should have bought stock in it and like a whole box. That's what you should have done.
I
like
haven't
a whole
looked
box
to
of it.
see
You should have just brought it back.
If there's a such thing over here or like Amazon or
they should.
Yeah.
So we did this whole switchback thing, and honestly, our private driver was like a race car driver. I think he thought he was in NASCAR or on the where is it where they go speed really fast on the Obanon? What is it called? No, that's not it. What's it called? I can't think of it. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. Anyways, I thought that he thought he was a NASCAR driver, so we were dying, and I was even dying on that one. And then, like I said, we went to the palace. And he did the same thing around you know how you go down like in a parking garage that's like all round. He was like this. I was like, what is it? I was like, wow, what was his name? I can't think of his name, but we gave him such a hard time.
I can't think of
not mean, not in a mean way. We just gave him a hard time. He was funny.
Yeah, we're like, can you take the car back up to the top of the parking garage so we don't have to go around that circle again?
He goes, I'll drive slow. Meanwhile, the two of them are looking at me like this. This isn't slow. I was like, I don't think he knows slow. I don't think he understands slow. So anyways, we went to the palace. He stopped to eat. We walked around. We fell in love with this limoncello place. Oh my gosh, the limoncello place was phenomenal. So one of our favorite things to do is drink limoncello, and actually to make homemade limoncello. I started that in COVID. I was like, you guys, we're going to make homemade limoncello. And we were like, what? And we did it. And we call it gasoline because it literally is gasoline. But this homemade limoncello, this place is phenomenal. So go to that place to get some limoncello because it's made right there.
Yes.
And we had samples.
And we brought some home.
Brought lots home. And they confiscated it from us when we got on the ship. But so we stopped there. We bought limoncello. And then we actually walked through the palace. And one of the cool things that we learned were they actually do live there, and they were there, right? When we were there.
They were there, yeah.
So it was really cool. It was cool to listen to. It was cool to hear where Princess Grace, lived and where she hung out and all that stuff. So that was really cool and neat. And then we left there, and we had talked about going over because you're not far from Italy. And one of my biggest things, I would love to have an Italian meal. I've yet to get to Italy. It's on my list. It's somewhere that I want to go. Apparently, I just like to fly over it and back. That's about all I like to do, and look down and say, hey, there's the motherland. Nice to see you, motherland. Someday I'll get to see you. So I found out we were so close, and I was like, we're going to call him Francois. I don't know if that's his name, but we're going to call him Francois. I say, Francois, can you take us to Italy? And he's like, that's where you want to go? And I'm like, well, yeah, I want to go to Italy. So he was going to until he called his boss, and his boss goes, nope, no Italy. They can't go to Italy. They're never going to make it back. So I don't know why
we could have made it back.
Yeah.
Because it was a late night stay.
Yeah.
We definitely could have made it back.
Yeah. So I was super bummed because my plan was to go over, cross the border, just a tiny bit across the border, and then find the nearest restaurant. I didn't even care if it was a bad restaurant or not. I was going to eat there and find the nearest restaurant and have myself some pasta. That's what I was planning on doing. And Francois ixnayed the plan. Well, maybe his boss did. I don't know. Whatever. Don't book with them. I'm just kidding. No, they were super cool. It was good, though. The whole tour was good. He was great. He had a lot to say. He was hard to understand because, of course, he had a great French accent, obviously. Not French accent for him, but French accent to us. And so he was hard to understand. And he spoke quiet, remember?
Yes.
We would literally be like this.
Yep. I do remember that.
And then Dave would get mad at us because he's like, you two aren't participating. We're like, we can't hear. What do you want from us? Like, we were like, we're in the back. Like, and then once, when you can't hear, you finally just give up. You're like, whatever, just play my game on my phone because I can't hear anything. So, and he was super sweet, though. Like, so sweet. So he dropped us off at Cannes. Kelly's husband met us, and then we went and ate at a restaurant there, which was so funny because remember we walked up to the restaurant and they're like, we're on siesta?
It's almost like siesta time. Yeah, where they like take a break between like 3 and 5 p.m. or something.
They're like, we're
that.
closed. And I was like this. What? They're like, we're closed.
Yeah, they're like, every restaurant here on the whole strip is closed.
And I'm like, wait, nothing's open? I just want a drink and some food. I wanted a charcuterie board. Mm-hmm. And actually, we found a restaurant that was smart and stayed open because there was a ship in port and wanted the business. And they had all the business.
Yep.
So, listen, I get it. They do things much better than we do where we work our arses off and don't stop working till midnight. But it was great. It was cool. We sat there and enjoyed the breeze and had a charcuterie board and a drink. And then went back to the ship. And ate at Pink Agave. Yum. That was super fun. I love Pink Agave. What else did we do? Oh, okay. So that night we went to Misbehave.
We did. This was our first time seeing that show.
And it was just the two of us. We lost Dave again somehow. Who knows what he was doing. And so we went to Misbehave. It was our first time. I loved it.
It was great. I thought it was great.
I think it's a phenomenal show.
It's hilarious. It's
hilarious.
Yeah. Interactive. If you don't know anything about it, don't research it before you go. Just go.
We're not going to say much about it, because I said that before. I think I didn't want to speak too much about it because I do feel like I don't know that it would have the same effect the second time around.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see the audience reaction
cast too.
Yeah, different cast, audience reaction. Well, you did see it in rehearsal.
Yeah.
How did that go? Was it?
It was
different, I'm sure.
It was very different because it was a very small room. They didn't have the entire set there. So
yeah.
But I just realized they're going to be on the Valiant, which we're going on in February.
Yeah. So we'll get to see it again. Yeah. I'm excited. I would love to see it again. That was our first time, like we said, seeing it. And so I'd like to see it one more time just to see how we react if we liked it as much as the second time. Because I do feel like it's one of those shows that you're like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So we saw Misbehave. We loved that. The next day, so the way you have 2 overnights on this sailing, which is super fun. But in order to get to that overnight, you kind of have a day at sea. A day at sea, because it's not like a real day at sea. It's like half a day at sea. So the next day I want to say that we had brunch with the team that the winning team, I should say, that came on board with us. And then we did Latteria Gigante. We actually did a live of that. So it's on our group, Virgin Voyages Cruise Tips and Deals. So we did Latteria Gigante that day during the day at sea. Then I remember that we went up top and we enjoyed going into port at Richard's Rooftop.
Yes.
Which was super fun. We've never actually done that. When I say we've never actually done that, after 14 sailings, I don't know how I say that, but it is true. There are certain things we've never done, and that one we didn't. We've never been up top or anywhere where we go into port. Because we're sleeping.
That is very true.
Now that I realize that, we are sleeping when that happens. So this time, obviously, so we got into port at 6 p.m., which is why we were saying the day at sea. We got into port at 6 p.m., super fun. We watched us come into port, and that was a tender?
No, that was the longest walk on the planet, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, I do remember.
It was a really long walk under like a covered, almost like
a terminal, like a real terminal.
Yeah, like a terminal.
Yeah.
And it was a long walk. But then when you get down to the bottom, there's taxis there constantly coming, waiting. So we jumped in a taxi.
Gelman tells me I didn't say we were in Palma de Mallorca, but I swear we said it. So we're in Palma de Mallorca at this point. And like she said, we jumped in a taxi, and we actually ended up eating out of the ship that night because I don't know why. We just felt like getting out of the ship.
Yeah, because we don't normally get to see ports at night.
Yeah.
And we were like, we need to go see this port.
That was why. You're right. Because we docked at 6. And so we were like, let's go eat out of the port. And so we did. We took a taxi. We hopped in the taxi with actually another sailor, which was super fun because she was a solo and we were 3. So we just hopped in and shared the taxi with her. And she was going to the same place. And honestly, wherever she was going, we were going anyway. Yeah. So we didn't really care. We're like, where are you going? Sure, we'll go with you. Right. Yeah, sounds like fun. So we went with her there. And then we ate at a place that honestly, and I don't even know what I ate. I probably had a Greek salad in Spain. No, I don't remember what I ate. I honestly don't know what I ate, but I ate something because I think I was starving. And then we walked around, and it was a lot of shops, but the place was beautiful. Oh my gosh. The cobblestone streets, the pretty oh man, the place was gorgeous. And we did not party, strangely enough. For as partying as we are, we did not go out and party. But apparently if you are a partier, it is a great DJ club spot.
Mm-hmm. I think because this sailing was so port intensive, we were busy every single day. Yeah. So we were exhausted at night, and we knew we had to get up the next day and do something. So we were trying to be good. I
agree. No, I agree with that. And so and also clubbing. I don't know. I mean, I love a good bar, I think, with music, but I don't know that in club is like my thing. I mean, I don't mind it on the ship. Obviously, I love it on the ship because it's a ship and it's contained and whatever. But like, I don't know that I feel the need. God, that means I'm old. I feel the need to like get dressed and go out to the club. If I rolled up on something, I'd definitely hang out.
Yeah.
But I was not going back to get all myself dolled up to go back out again. But that is the cool part. So one of the cool things, I think I mentioned this before on the Greek Island Glow, that I loved was that you can come back at any time. Like, you come back at 3 a.m. and the ship's still there and it's still open. Like, it's the weirdest, craziest thing because I've never experienced it before. And it's super fun. It's like a floating hotel, which is what they call ships anyways. But this was like a true floating hotel.
Yeah, that was super
So
cool.
that was fun and neat. So we went back at, I don't remember what time, probably 9, 10 by the time we got back. And the ship was all decorated. So we got to see, I think it had rainbow hearts on it, I think, that night, honestly. It was super cool. Kelly and I have a thing where when the ship has lights on, we try and figure it out. And our favorite way to figure it out is when we're on board, when you can't see it at all.
We're like running around on deck 7, like outside, just like staring up
and trying to figure out.
And we're on this side, and then we run to the other side, and then we run to the like the starboard. We're on the port. We're like trying to figure out the letters. We did it once.
Yeah,
though.
we did.
I don't remember what it said. When
Hola.
That's right. It was the J-Lo sailing. That's what it was.
It was Hola. So they do set up the lights, and it's not long. They're up there probably, I would say, from whatever dark time till maybe 10, because they don't want to leave them on too long in case people don't want their lights on their deck or on their terrace. So if we remember, we try to, like she said, run from side to side trying to figure out what it says. And so, but it's nice when you're off the ship and you can see it. But when you're in the Caribbean, you don't stay long enough. So you have to look at it on ship and you're like this. What's it say?
Yeah, we tried last week and we were not successful. Yeah, but I don't know that it really said anything. I think it was a shape or something.
Yep. It was something that we couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. We got to see the ship all lit up and stuff. And then we went to bed. And actually, interesting enough, that Jeff Bezos, I think his ship was out the back. Yes, it was. Wasn't it him?
Yep.
I think I said his name right.
Yeah.
His ship was out the back of ours, so that was pretty cool to see. And then I'm trying to think. Then the next day, we went to, oh my gosh, this was, So one of the things that they love to do over in Spain, and I would say France too, maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't even look it up. But I know Spain definitely is go to beach clubs or have beach clubs. So this was one of the things I really wanted to try was a beach club. So I heard Nikki Beach is one of the better beach clubs out there. So we tried it in Palma de Mallorca, and it was phenomenal. It was so much fun. It was tiny. I wouldn't say that it was big. Super fun. I don't know that we fit in. I think that we're like a bunch of dorks, honestly, in this like swanky place. But
We did not fit in. I'm telling you, we got there at like 11 a.m. and the place was dead.
that was on purpose.
Right. Well, which was great because we had the entire pool
Yeah.
to ourselves. We had a nice setup with a
Oh my God,
bed
it was
and a
gorgeous.
couch and a table. I mean, it was
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
And but there were women there like dolled up
Yeah.
in bathing suits
didn't
and
look like they're
heels
going to-
with like their
Yeah.
hair was done, their
Yeah.
makeup was on point, and we're like
Just
a mess.
hot. They were super hot.
Yeah, we were hot, like dying, sweating hot, and they were like gorgeous, like ready to go out.
Just beautiful. It was okay. So one of the things that like obviously beach clubs do is that they're during the day it's like a party, right? And then it turns into a club at night, and that's basically what happened. So I think that's why they get all dolled up like that. I don't know. I'm not cool enough to know that, but I was cool enough to hang out for just a tiny bit, and that's what I'm gonna go with. So we had a really good time in Nikki Beach. We hung out on the bed, the day bed. We went in the pool. We saw a bunch of people actually from the ship because obviously when you're around town, you see the band that everyone's wearing. You're like, oh, they're from the ship. Oh, and this place was far. Nikki Beach was far.
It was far.
And we actually didn't know that she was going the right way when she brought us, remember? But thank
Yeah.
God Dave speaks fluent Spanish because we were like, where are we going?
Yes.
And thank God Dave got it right. So we ended up at Nikki Beach and it was great. And we stayed there. The food was phenomenal.
It was not cheap.
No, know that. It's not cheap.
It's a very expensive afternoon out.
Yes. And if you needed money, by the way, there was an exchange place right next door.
Yes.
So that was nice.
We visited that several times.
Because then I'd go back and I'd be like, I got $100 or whatever
I
got.
need more.
And then I go, did I get enough? And then someone's like, nope, I think I'm going to need more money. And I go back and the guy's looking at me like, lady, you would have done better if you just done it all at the same time. So to keep coming back. And then I'd be like, do you think we need more? And then I'd go back and get more. We were a disaster. So that was right next door. So if you do go to Nikki Beach in Palma de Mallorca, there's an exchange spot, a money exchange right next door. But yeah, it was super fun. I would totally do that again.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yes, I would too.
And so then we went back. You had to be back on the ship at 6 p.m. So you arrived at 6 p.m. the night before, stayed overnight through the night, had the whole day, and then you had to be back on the ship at 6 p.m. And it looks like we ate at Extra Virgin that night. We ate at Evie. And that was the night, that Dave didn't join us, I don't think, and neither did your hubs. And they made me my own special meal because I asked for it, strangely enough. They made me, do you remember this?
Yes.
I said, I heard you'll make a spaghetti and meatballs for people. And literally the guy went like this. What? And I was like, I heard you'll make a spaghetti and meatballs. He's like, no. I'm like, yeah, I think you should ask the chef. I was like, I think you should because I know you do. I heard this rumor. So he goes and asks, he comes back. He's like, we'll figure it out. That's literally what he said to me. We'll figure it out. So out comes literally like, it looked like vodka sauce. It was like vodka sauce with meatballs. It was delicious though. I haven't asked for it since because I felt really bad after. I was like, wow, I'm an asshole. So I felt really bad and I haven't asked for it since, but it was delicious because I think they whipped that up. That was not what I was asking for, but it was basically the carbonara pasta mixed with their red sauce and then meatballs put on it. It was delicious. Kind of want some right now, actually.
We'll be on board next week.
Maybe on board next week. I'll just have to ask for it. Ooh, if we get Kleber, then I'm just going to ask him.
Oh, okay.
That's what we should do. We should get Kleber and then he'll be really mad at me because Kleber doesn't like me very much.
Oh, I doubt that.
I think he does like me. That's why I think I might get what I want. So anyways, we ate at Evie that night, the two of us, and they made us that meal. But do you remember our waiter was great? I loved him. I wish I remembered his name because he was super cute. He took a picture with us. He was darling. But hopefully we'll see him again soon. Thanks, waiter. And then the next day again, we had another day at sea, which is a fake day at sea, but a good day at sea. Because we arrived in Ibiza at 7 o'clock at night. And to be honest, I have no clue what we did that day.
We did it. Oh,
No, go
during
ahead.
the day. No, I thought you meant at night. I don't remember what we did during the day either.
Mm-mm.
Maybe a slot tournament?
Probably. Where we screamed and lost. It's always fun.
Yeah, I don't remember what we did.
I don't know. There's a couple things over here that look like it, but we never did those, just so you know.
No.
Behind the scenes was one of them.
No.
VHS workout did not do that.
No, we didn't.
And bingo. But you know what I did do on this sailing that Kelly did not join me on is I did the bungee class again. And I would like to talk about that really quickly because I say to Kelly, and I think this might be actually the day that I did it because I said, Kelly, do you want to do it? And she was like, nah, I did it last time. I'm good. I think we were just tired. You were just tired.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm going to do it because I just want to see what it's about. So not what it's about. Compare and do it. Thank God I did. It was completely different than the class that we did. So the class that we did on Resilient, the teacher was very
Playful?
yes, and like tricks and stuff. We had so much fun doing different tricks. This class was a true workout. I got my ass kicked, okay? And after eating all that food for 2 weeks on the ships, I was dying a slow bungee death, okay? He was like, okay, now run. So you have this bungee around your waist and you had to run against the bungee. And I was like, all right, after 2 seconds, I was like, are we done? He's like, keep running. And I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. I thought this was just going to be me hanging upside down. It was not me hanging upside down. It was me like actually working out, which is a good thing. If I had wanted that, I did not want that at that point. I wanted to just
fun. You wanted fun.
Yeah. So I get off or I get out of the class and I go over to Kelly and I go, well, you should be glad you didn't go to that class. And she was like, why? And I was like, they worked us hard. I mean, we were doing, so like at one point he was like, run and jump. And so you had to run against the bungee and jump and you had to do it like, I'm not kidding. It was like 60 times. Like he was like, keep going. And I was like, didn't we do it enough? Isn't this enough? And I kept looking at the guy next to me and I was like, that's not Kelly, but save me. I was like, hey guy, want to leave? Because he kept looking at me with the same face, like, what is happening? So it was super fun though, even still, because any bungee class was fun. But Kelly was very glad after I told her that that's how that class ended. So we arrived at Ibiza at 7 o'clock. That was not a tender port. And we did this really cool excursion with Virgin that we didn't see coming in any way, shape, or form.
Was it evenings over Ibiza? I can't see
yes.
the paper.
How did you? Yeah, she can't see the paper, but it is evenings over Ibiza. So we had to be off the ship. We got on a bus. They took us over to the city
town,
center.
yeah,
the city center. And we went walking.
Lots of walking. Uphill,
Yeah.
cobblestone, broken rocks.
Kelly, what kind of shoes were you wearing?
Not the right ones.
She was definitely not wearing the right shoes. So it was supposed to be evenings over Ibiza. You were supposed to see the sunset, have a drink. Like it was, I mean, when I tell you it was absolutely gorgeous, it was absolutely gorgeous. But it was uphill, like, I mean, you know, steep, like very, very steep. And Kelly had the wrong shoes on, but we saw the most prettiest things. And honestly, I kind of wish they would have let us just hang around in there because there's so many cute little restaurants and shops and things in there that would have been great to just sit and drink some wine that I don't drink. I don't drink wine. Kelly, what do I drink?
Vodka and limoncello.
Vodka and limoncello. So, but I would have had a glass of wine there because that's what I feel like it called for. So, the place was just absolutely beautiful. It was almost like it's almost like a castle. It reminded me a lot of Mont Saint Michel, but it definitely was not Mont Saint Michel. But it reminded me a lot of that it was like on a hill and it had a beautiful church, and I want to say there was an abbey on there. But all these great places inside this one little area. So it was absolutely gorgeous. So they had us walk around there. We had a tour guide that took us around, and then she took us back down to this hotel where we went to the top and couldn't see the sunset at all because the little town that was on the hill
All the buildings.
blocked.
Yeah, all the buildings were in the way.
Yeah, blocked the sunset. So here we are on this top of this hotel, drinking a drink, seeing nothing. So that was, I think, a fail, in my opinion, on that tour. The drink should have been inside the little, I don't even know which one, we probably should figure out the name of it, but like the little town that was up on the hill. It definitely should have been in there and not on the hotel. So then after that, they gave you time to wander around and do whatever you wanted to do. And I had to have cheese. What kind of cheese, Kelly?
All the cheese.
Oh,
Manchego.
Manchego cheese. It's like my favorite cheese ever. So I was on a hunt for Manchego cheese. And as soon as I found a place that said it, no joke, right? Like we read all the menus and I was like, Manchego, we're eating here, Manchego cheese. So we ate there. And Anthony had pizza. I ordered burrata and the Manchego. And oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. I think I'm still dreaming about that too. Damn it. We got to go back. So we did that, and then we caught the bus back.
Mm-hmm. Ibiza is also known for their nightlife, which we did not really experience.
Old.
And Calvin Harris was in town at that time.
He was. And that other famous guy. You know. There was another one. I can't
I don't remember.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because we weren't going to go anyways. We actually talked about doing the 80s night, and I'm really bummed that we didn't do that. We should have dropped the old fuddy-duddies back at the
that was the plan.
That was
Leave
the
them
plan
on the ship.
The plan was to drop the old fuddy-duddies back on the cruise ship and then go to the 80s nights because I hear it's phenomenal. It's at the Hard Rock Arena because it's not a hotel, I don't think. And it's apparently phenomenal. So I'm super bummed we didn't do it. That doesn't mean we're not going to go back and do it and try it.
True.
And try all the things. But we did hear from our friends that Calvin Harris was interesting. And I think we might be a little old for it. So I'm okay missing it, honestly.
Agreed.
But if that's your thing, you go right there for it and tell us all about it because we love to hear about it. But I do think the 80s night would have been phenomenal. So if you like that, that's what you should probably do. Or do Calvin Harris because I bet he's probably going to do that again. So those were your choices then. And again, like we said, the boat was just sitting there hanging out and you could just come and go as you please, which is what everyone did. The next day we went to...
Oh my gosh, my favorite place. I can't wait to go back. We're
so
going back there.
Yeah, we are. We really should just go there and just hang out and not like do a ship.
We should.
Mm-hmm. We should totally.
Cotton Beach Club.
The Cotton Beach Club. Holy cannoli. It was on the most gorgeous beach I think I've ever seen. And I've been to a lot of beaches. I've been to all the Caribbean. You name it, I've been there. And this was phenomenal.
And we almost didn't go.
Yeah, we almost didn't go. Why, though? I can't remember.
Because we wanted to go back to Nikki Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Because we heard the Cotton Beach Club did not have a pool.
Yes.
And we were very disappointed about that. So we
That's
called
right.
Nikki Beach and we were like, hey, can we come there? Because they did have one in Ibiza as well. And it was almost double the price we paid the day before.
Yeah.
And we,
because it was last minute.
You know, what do we do? What do we do? And we're like, you know what? We paid for Cotton Beach Club already. Let's just go, see what it's like, take some pictures, and go home. Mm-hmm. Well, we were there until they kicked us out.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was absolutely gorgeous. So we actually got there early again because unfortunately, you know, when you're on a cruise ship, you can't go late. You can't go later because you don't have enough time and you paid a lot of money for it. So you're going when it opens. When the place opens, you're going to be there. So we got there, we got our seats. We actually got a really great spot where we could see the water. So they had 3 or 4 levels of day beds. And so, you know, obviously the further back, you've got people in front of you, but we were right in the front so we could see everything. And the beach was just phenomenal. The sand was not like great or anything, but the water was crystal clear. It was really cool because there was just these just gorgeous bays and it was calm. And it was great. And there was some cliff diving over off this big rock. And the hubs wanted to do it. And so he went first. And I videoed him because I'm not that adventurous to jump off a cliff. That's not my thing. So then Dave went back and announced to Kelly that he jumped off a cliff. And he was very happy about himself. And so Kelly's like, well, I don't want to jump off a cliff. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? So then these two are like, we're going to jump off a cliff. And so we walk all the way back over and they put me in charge of videoing it. And I did and took pictures and they jumped off the cliff, which was really cool.
That was super fun.
It was super cool. I was very proud of them from afar.
It took me a little while though, because I remember him coming back and saying he did it. And I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And it was like an hour later. I'm like, if I don't do it, I'm going to regret it.
Yeah,
so I was like, oh, I'm going. I'm going.
And we were actually at a topless beach listen, let's be honest. It doesn't matter where you go. It's topless. And so we had a lot of topless women around us. And speaking of regretting things, I was like, I had to try it. So, because we don't get to do that here. So I had to try it as well. And that was very different for me. Let's just say it was very different. And then, so we both did something that was very different.
Yes, I did not go topless.
No, she was like, no, that's not happening. So yeah, so it was something that we both tried, but you liked yours. I don't know. Mine's still up for debate. We'll see if I try that again sometime. It's just different. We're just not used to it here in America.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was super cool. So we highly recommend the Cotton Beach Club. We ate there as well. The food was different. I would say Nikki's food was better. Oh, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah, Nikki food was better.
Do you remember your Greek salad at Cotton Beach Club?
Yeah, it was weird.
It was like a ball of cheese with like
that. It
stuff
was very
inside.
strange.
It was like a stuffed cheese.
Yeah, I remember that because I had a flashback of what the heck was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was very different. So the food was much better at Nikki Beach. But
don't count out Cotton Beach Club because there's no pool. You don't need a pool. The ocean is beautiful, or whatever, the bay, whatever that is there. I don't even know. It was
definitely an ocean, I'm pretty sure. But it felt like a bay just because of the way it was cut out.
Yeah, don't count it out.
Yeah, I agree. 1,000%. So we did that. We got back. And then we ate at the wake that night.
Oh, that was our last night.
Yeah, it was so good. Always. I think we're all starving, though, because that weird meal I had at Cotton Beach Club. So that was it. And then we left the next morning. It was super easy. We went straight home that morning. Everyone always asks us, do we stay another day? Should we leave that morning or that day? And it was very easy to leave the next day. I will say that people that were doing back-to-back, because it was going to the Irresistible Med after us, it was very easy to do back-to-back. There was a spot at the SIP Lounge that said, if you're doing back-to-back, come check in here. They didn't even have to get off the ship. They just got to hang out and have a good time. So I think that's really cool if you're doing back-to-back. I actually get to experience my first back-to-back in the Caribbean in a couple weeks, which I'm excited about. But you do have to get off and back on here in the Caribbean.
So one thing to mention, too, about Barcelona is there's taxis lined up outside. So you don't have to worry about that if you're heading to the airport. They are there. You just get in a line, and you go through the line, and they just ask you how many people you have, how many bags you have, and you get in the taxi. There's also, I can't think of the name of it now, but when you get off the ship, there's a big banner that tells you about this company that will hold your bags for the day. If you wanted to go explore Barcelona, if your flight was at, 7 o'clock at night and you didn't want to drag your bags around town. So definitely look into that.
Yeah, definitely. So because we were mega, my husband and I, they had it scheduled for us, their shuttle pickup and whatnot. So we had a private shuttle to the airport. And we ended up seeing you guys because we weren't on the same plane.
No.
Yeah, we were on a different plane.
We were going to New York.
Yeah, they were going to New York. We went to Miami. So, strangely enough. And we lived down the street from each other. So, it was just the way that it worked out, where we were all headed. But, yeah, the sailing was amazing. I would totally do it again. I don't know how long I'd wait to do it again, honestly. I don't know. What would you do differently?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know.
I think I'd do Cannes differently. I know I'm saying it wrong. But there was a Nikki Beach there, too. Because that's where Tamika went, was Cannes.
That was a long day.
That was a long day.
Because we tried to see it all, and everything was so far away.
I think I'd go to Italy, actually. That's what I would change.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've seen, obviously, Monte Carlo and all that. So I would go to Italy, totally.
Yeah.
But I think I would honestly do the e-bike again. I mean, as much as I complained about it, when I say complain, I'm kind of complaining.
But you'd probably get the helmet this time?
I'd get the helmet this time, but I would totally do it again. I thought it was fun. So actually, funny story, whenever we see an e-bike, we look at each other and go, do we do it? Should we try it? So it's funny now that we have that story. I'm trying to think. There's nothing else I would change, though, honestly, because it was such a great sailing. We had a really good time, but we don't know what we missed, obviously.
Yeah.
Although I think I'd go to 80s. Leave the fuddy-duddies. When my husband sees this, he's going to be very mad at me.
Oh, no.
No, he doesn't like that kind of stuff. But he loves 80s. But he doesn't like, clubbing. So,
yeah.
That's what I would do, definitely. I would not do Calvin Harris. I don't care about that. I don't need to unce my way through life.
Nope.
But yeah, so other than that, that was our sailing. It was super fun. We loved it. I keep telling Kelly we need to do the Irresistible Med because that one goes to Italy. There is one out there right now that goes to Rome. You ever seen the one that says Irresistible Med with Rome?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the one we should do. Irresistible Med with Rome.
Yes.
So that I get to roam all the Italy. Right?
Yes. Agreed.
Agreed. So yeah. So anyways, we will leave you with that. I think we hit everything. Thank you so much for listening. Again, we're Fabulous Adventures Travel Company. I am Samantha, and thank you, Kelly, for joining me today again and going over our fabulous sailing that we had. And if you are on Facebook, join us on Virgin Voyages Cruise Tips and Deals, and hopefully we'll see you on there. So we'll leave you with our favorite phrase. You float our boat. Thanks, guys. Bye.